This is Scary Movie Fright Night,
a new podcast about two guys who just watch scary movies. I'm Chris, and I love scary movies.
And I'm Sam, and I hate scary movies. My body just shook. Give me the heebie-jeebies. No, don't. All you have to do is stay inside in your bed, and then you won't get murdered.
Oh. Okay.
And now you have that recorded.
Welcome, everybody, to the the 0th episode of Scary Movie Fright Night. We're your hosts. I'm Chris. I'm here because I love scary movies. I've been watching scary movies my whole life, since about the age of 3, which is maybe too young, but that's the truth. I never really get a chance to watch scary movies, so I brought along a friend who hates them. Sam, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Oh, what a good friend I am. I'll tell you what. I just didn't want you to have to watch these scary movies all alone. So I said, I will tag along and help you out. But let me tell you, I hate scary movies. When I'm sitting on the sofa Saturday night trying to pick something to watch, I never go to the section of the scary movies and scroll through them because it's just not my thing. But I'm excited to explore the genre a little bit together and face that fear and conquer it.
I think it's interesting because you may find parts of scary movies that you like. They're very diverse. There's sci-fi horror. Sci-fi horror. There's, thriller movies. There's super gory movies, which I'm sure you'll love those. But they're a very diverse genre. Some have very big comedic aspects to it. So we'll find the type of scary movie that you enjoy.
I want to find that funny scary movie. I want the comedic scary movie. Yeah.
I almost proposed one that's known for having comedic bits, but I was like, nah, not that early. Like we'll not going to get Sam.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. So how's this going to work?
So every week we're going to watch a scary movie, and then we're just going to come talk about it. I'll give my impression. If it's an older movie, does it hold up? How do I like it? Is it scary? Is it not scary? Was I on the edge of my seat? And then more importantly, you'll give your impression about how much you loved it and how much, joy it brought you in your nightmares.
How much joy it brought in my nightmares. I love it. And if you're listening, you're following along with the podcast, you can watch. We'll tell you each episode what movie we're going to watch next. So you could grab a bag of popcorn and prepare for the following episode by watching the same movie.
Facts. And actually, that's why we're here. Episode 0 is so that we can decide what we're going to watch for episode 1. So that you know what's coming up.
I'm so excited and a little bit scared.
So when I was a kid, there was a video store across the street, and my mom would be like, hey, here's some cash. Run to the video store, because I don't think we had cards back then. I'm pretty old. Run to the video store, get a video game, and find me a scary movie. And so everyone at the video store knew me, so I would call her on the phone with VHS tapes in my hand. For those of us that don't know, on the back of the VHS tape, it would have a synopsis of the movie. So I would just, hey, this movie came out in this year and it stars these people. And here's the synopsis. And she'd be like, oh, I think I saw that one. What else did you find? And I would pick out the other video and I would read it, and she would choose which movie to watch. And like that was like a distinct memory I have. And so when we were like, well, how are we going to choose? I was like, I know, I'm going to call Sam and I'm going to read the synopsis on the back of the VHS tape and then let him decide. So really he's choosing his own fate. So if he hates the movie and it scares him to death, well, he chose it. He could have picked a better one.
I love it. Well, let's do it. I want to hear what the first set of movies to choose from is. Time to choose my fate.
Time to choose your fate. So for this week, I tried to diversify it a little bit. So I went with one movie that's just kind of an older movie, one movie that's a remake of an older movie, and one movie that's relatively new.
An old movie, a remake of an old movie, and a new movie. Okay,
yep.
Got it.
Yep. So the first movie I chose because I know you saw The Ring back in the day and you loved it. And so I thought, what better the theme? Japanese horror and an older movie that came out after The Ring that you hadn't seen. So the first movie on the Sam scale of scariness. Wow, that's hard to say. Anyway, is The Grudge. Came out in 2004, starring Sarah Michelle Gellar and Bill Pullman, which I'd completely forgot. So here's a synopsis.
Okay.
Matthew Williams, his wife Jennifer, and mother Emma are Americans making a new life in Tokyo. Together, they move into a house that has been the site of supernatural occurrences in the past, and isn't long before their new home begins terrorizing the Williams family as well. And they love it. The house, as it turns out, is a site of a curse that lingers in a specific place and claims the life of anyone that comes near. This joyful adventure will keep you smiling and laughing all night long. And that's the synopsis.
Okay, so let's debrief for a second before we read the second synopsis. So the title of the movie is The Grudge, and the premise is that something has happened in this house, so that the house is holding a grudge. I support it.
Yeah, I mean,
when someone does you wrong and you got to get back at them, you got to be a little petty. It sounds like this house is just, super petty and doing what it's got to do to take care of this grudge. I also wonder, when it says that there are supernatural occurrences, I'm very curious to see what these supernatural occurrences are in the house.
Well, what I can tell you, having seen this movie in theaters back in 2004, is that you're exactly right. So it's really a coming of age story about a house and a curse that holds a grudge against the family, and how over the course of the experiences of this house, it learns to just really face those inner feelings and become a better house by the end. It's really just like an inspirational story about a house and a curse and some supernatural experiences. And by the way, supernatural just means more than natural.
Mystical,
yeah. A house with a grudge. I mean, that's pretty supernatural, right? So
I think this is a movie that my therapist would recommend based on the way you just described it.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Okay. What's the second one?
Okay, so the second one, I picked this movie because it's a remake of a movie I watched as a kid with my mom that scared the crap out of me, moderately so, and that is Candyman from 2021.
Oh, I love candy.
Everyone loves candy, and so it's about a man that he makes candy for people. It's really, I don't even understand why it's a horror movie. I have not seen this movie. I've seen the original, but Candyman came out in 2021. Stars Jordan Peele.
Oh, I love Jordan Peele.
And Tony Todd, interestingly enough, who was in the original Candyman. I don't think he still plays that character, but he must be a guest appearance. For decades, the housing projects of Chicago's Cabrini Green were terrorized by a ghost story about a supernatural, hook-handed killer. A misunderstood hook-handed killer, one would say. Mm-hmm. In present day, an artist begins to explore the macabre history of Candyman. Not knowing it would unravel his sanity and unleash a terrifying wave of violence, and puts him on a collision course with destiny.
That's the whole synopsis.
That's the whole synopsis.
Oh man, I need more. Yeah. Well, okay, so here's my first question: is so this guy has hooks for hands, and he's a killer. Is that what the synopsis said?
Well, yeah. So if you've ever,
killer?
A hook-handed killer,
like Captain Hook,
but. He's basically Captain Hook.
But in Chicago.
He lost his hand to an alligator in Chicago. It was a candy accident. He was a candy maker. The machine took his hand off. And the best way to move forward was to install a hook to continue to make candy. Right.
It sounds like he's just misunderstood. I really would love to ask, what is your motive? I mean, did he get bullied in high school? Like, it sounds like he's just trying to bring good and hope into this world through the use of candy, and he's just something along the way got misinterpreted. So that could be a good candidate to just explore the misunderstood nature of the Candyman. Okay, all right.
100%. What's number? I mean, it's like the song, right? The Candyman can. Something about takes stuff and mixes it with love and makes the world.
Yeah, is there a connection here
or something?
Willy Wonka.
Probably.
Maybe
this is probably like the R-rated Willy Wonka.
Are there like what are they, Oompa Loompas to help with his?
I hope so.
Operations.
I hope so.
Okay.
So that's number two.
Okay,
so the first one, old school. Mm-hmm. The second one, new school, old school. This third movie I chose because it's popped up on a lot of stuff that I've seen. It's been on my list for a while. It's already come out with a second movie that's a prequel to it. No idea if it's, but people talk about it. So I'm excited about this one. So the movie is called X. Came out in 2022, so not that long ago. It stars Jenna Ortega and Kid Cudi. A group of actors set out to make an adult film in rural Texas under the noses of they're reclusive hosts. Just a fun weekend. Just out to make some content. But when the elderly couple catches their young guests in the act, the cast find themselves in a desperate fight for their lives. Pretty short, pretty straight into the fort.
That's the whole synopsis.
Straight to the point. That's the whole synopsis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot to unpack here.
There's a lot.
Okay, first of all, making an adult film in rural Texas. So I'm instantly intrigued with this scenario.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Everything's bigger in Texas. And anyone who knows me knows I can appreciate the pervy side of whatever. Like making an adult film, scary movie. Well, now I'm very curious. And
now I've found your niche for scary movies.
Why? How many like pervy scary movies? Probably a lot, actually.
Probably a lot. This
might get weird. But why are they making this adult film in the home of an elderly couple? Is that what the synopsis
they're
said?
probably. I think they're at an Airbnb.
Okay,
or something similar, right? They're staying on someone's property, so where would you make it? In your own house? Like, I don't want my home featured.
Well, that's a good point.
But if I can find a really nice Airbnb, you shop, and you're like, oh, that Airbnb in Texas definitely has a theme I'm going for my adult movie.
The funny thing about this movie, in comparison to the other two, so the other two were described as there's like supernatural elements that are happening. This one just sounds like, an everyday scenario. You're just making your adult film and you get walked in on by an elderly couple. Like, that is horrifying. That's scary enough without any supernatural elements. There you go. Like, new fear unlocked. Like, not the exact nightmares that there's like, the recurring nightmare that people have of like, oh, I'm at school or I'm at work and I'm walking around and I look down and I realize I'm not wearing any pants, but I'm out in public and I just, oh my God, everyone sees me. That fear of just being naked. Like, that's what that makes me think of. It's like, it's tapping into a real, not a real experience. I mean, that's never happened to me before, but it's not like supernatural, like ghosts and ghouls and things trying to get you, monsters, but it's like the psychological. I mean, this is my assumption. Having not seen the movie, who knows?
I think the whole movie is the old people walk in and then we're like, oh my God, I'm so scared. And then that's
the end.
And they kick them out and they don't get their deposit back.
Oh, and they lose all the money. See, that's scary too. Okay, well, so this is interesting. I mean, this synopsis leaves a lot to the imagination.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite different from the other two. The other
How did
two
you find it? How did you find this one?
That is a good question. So, it popped up. Like, I've seen it around. And so when we started talking about recording these episodes, I just started doing like horror movies 2022, horror movies 2023 for the last couple of years. And as soon as I saw it, I remembered that I'd seen it on lists, right? Because it got a high Rotten Tomato score and everyone was talking about it. And then the prequel came out. And so it was on my list, my running list. And so when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is different. The other two are supernatural, like, one lighthearted stories about a man who makes candy, lighthearted stories about, a house is trying to find itself in the modern age in Japan. But this one is, just some kids just trying to be kids,
they're
make
just
some
trying
content.
to express themselves. Yeah, they're content creators.
Yeah, I mean, they're the YouTubers of 2023, but for OnlyFans or something, right? So
yeah, exactly.
They're just trying to have a good time. Airbnb it. They don't want to use their own house.
Yeah. Okay. I have some questions here about the how this is going to work. So you've brought 3 films. We're gonna pick one to watch for the first episode, but I'm really intrigued by all 3 of these, and I would love to come back to the 2 that we don't choose and watch them in the future. So will they still be in the running?
Yes. Yeah. So my plan is to make you watch every scary movie known to man. No. So you'll pick a movie this week. We'll watch it. But the other 2 will go back to the list, and at a later time, we
can cycle them back in.
We'll cycle them through.
Okay.
If there's a movie that I'm just like, oh, I want you to watch this, it might be one of the 3 every week. Until I get you to watch it.
Okay.
Yeah. There's one in particular that I'm really curious about that I'm not going to talk about, but
Well, all three of these are very intriguing. The Grudge sounds like, that I can relate to the mentality of that house holding the grudge. It's hard to let go of grudges. The Candyman sounds like I love a good villain story where the villain is just misunderstood. So I really want to
Mhm.
understand this
Like the
guy.
Thanos of horror movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like he just, you got to give
Just
him a chance to express his point of view. And then, the last one sounds like, just again, some kids trying to express themselves and experiencing this awkward run in with an older generation. And, what do you do? So maybe
yeah.
there's an
And
opportunity to learn how to handle that.
to be clear, hopefully not kids, because that would be inappropriate. But hopefully, young
Well,
adults. Right?
kids,
Yeah,
as in like our generation of kids. I'm still a kid. We're still
that is true.
kids.
Yeah, I'm still a
Like
kid.
30-year-old kids. It's fine.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. So I think I have a decision.
Ooh.
And I think I want to go with, for episode 1, Candyman. The
Oh,
new
really?
Candyman. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it just I'm just very curious. I love Jordan Peele. And it sparks my interest. I'm
That's
curious
exciting. I
how
hope
this
it's
is going to
good.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So what
think
do you
that
think?
it'll be
First
interesting.
episode, Candyman?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I will be curious to see, how many callbacks there are to the original. Um, again, which I watched as a kid. And to see, and maybe it'll be good and maybe it won't be. But if we agree that it's not good, well, then, it's a throw out. But if I think it's great and you think it's not, well, then you're probably wrong.
I'm open to being wrong. Okay, cool. So we have our choice. So we'll watch
Mhm.
the movie, and then on the first episode we'll do a little debrief, and then we'll choose the next one. So if you're listening and you want to join us, this is the new Candyman. The Candyman. When did this movie come out?
2021 Candyman.
The 2021 Candyman. So not the original from, when was the original? Like the 90s, 80s, something like that.
90 something.
Okay.
Let's see.
So we'll figure out how to stream it. If you want to follow along, watch the movie with us, and then we will debrief next week. Join us on this Scary Movie Fright Night journey with episode 1, The Candyman.
See you soon.
See you soon.